My name is Craig Sell, and I welcome you to the Pace Insight series sponsored today by NobelBiz. The subject is how to build a seamless customer experience using Omnichannel. Regardless of the industry you're in, customers nowadays are digital first, and that's non-negotiable. They like to be informed, they want to know first, and they like to be where major events happen. They expect brands to speak their language and use their communication channels. And this might be a big challenge or the greatest opportunity you can take advantage of. Today, we will discuss how to use technology to be where your clients are and how to create that seamless customer experience that will make your contact center business stand in the spotlight. On this Pace Insight, we are joined by Michael McGuire, Director of Contact Center Digital Transformation at NobelBiz. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, how are you, Craig?
I'm doing well.
Awesome.
Let's get this thing kicked off. So
Okay.
To start, how would you describe the 2021 customer, generally speaking, and what do you think they like, and what do you think their needs are?
Yeah, I would probably describe them as needy. So
Yeah.
meaning, I kind of look at it as, my kids. I have a whole spectrum. My oldest is 25. I have an 18, I have a 14, and I have a 7-year-old. And so when you talk about the way that people communicate, it's completely different from when I grew up. So if you look at the statistics, and by year 2025, 75% of the workforce is going to be millennials. They're going to be in my older, kids' age. And so the communication styles of picking up the phone, just dialing or asking questions is almost gone. So a good example is I have to send him a text message to say, hey, can I call you? So, the contact centers have to be able to communicate in that preferred method. What do they like to communicate in, and how can we tap into that as either a good customer service or also an opportunity if you're in sales or that type of work to be able to grab their attention?
Very insightful. Yes, my kids have told me don't ever call, just text.
No. Yeah, text or even now Snapchat and all those other forms.
Absolutely. So what's the difference between multi-channel and omni-channel?
Sure. So as somebody that grew up in the call centers, the last 24 years, I've seen the channels kind of add, right? It was all voice. And then it went to kind of voice texting, maybe email thrown in there. And now we're to kind of the full gamut of Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, so on and so forth. So my definition of omni is everything. And it's also a definition of not being able to just communicate in the channel, but being able to tie that communication back to that customer. So in multi-channel, you can send out a text, you can send out a voice call, you can do a email. Unfortunately, it's all siloed. So that information that comes back does not tie back to that customer. So if you were going to say, hey, let's define a customer profile and figure out how we should communicate with them. In a multi-channel, it's very hard. You're pulling in data. You're having to manipulate the data on the back end to build that profile. In an omni-channel, it's pretty simple because all those different channels tie to that customer and that customer's preferred method.
Very interesting. So my next is a two-part question. What does seamless customer experience mean to you? And can you provide some examples of real seamless customer experience and not so seamless customer experience?
Sure, absolutely. So seamless, if we look at it, it kind of means continuous, no gaps, no gaps within that. So a seamless customer service to me would be able to communicate and be able to have the same functionality or the same pricing, or depending on what the type of program is, no matter the channel. So if I receive an email and I call in, I'm receiving the same experience from the phone call to what I seen on the email. Or if I'm chatting on somebody's web chat, I'm receiving the same type of customer service pricing experience within that chat that I did if I made the phone call. So it's the ability to do the job, complete the task without having a fall off, without having a bad experience or just really getting to the level to where you get frustrated and you have to call in or you have to talk to a person. So good example of bad customer service, I would say 5 to 10 years ago. You call in, for your cell phone. Maybe you're looking at your payment or so on and so forth, and they transfer you to 5 departments, right? So you're at one department, you're talking to somebody and they say, oh, we don't deal with that. It looks like it was an email offer. Let me send you to the email team. And then you go on the email team. Now, before you know it, you're at 45 minutes into a phone call and you're super frustrated. So, and the reason is because none of that data or none of that information connected. So the agents were all siloed into different positions and different jobs. So a good seamless would be, I call, they can pull up the history. They see Mike McGuire. They see that I've sent in an email, that I've chatted with this customer, or maybe I made a payment 2 days ago. Now that agent can say, hey, Mike, thanks for that payment 2 days ago. I noticed you inquired about this new offer. Let's talk about it. I mean, look at the difference from point A to B. One, you're getting frustrated, you're getting transferred to 5 different departments. And the other is really simple. By having the information, now the agent can really give you that good customer experience based on, what you expect.
Thanks for sharing, Mike. So how do we build that seamless customer experience in your opinion?
So first off, you have to, have a platform that's going to give you the ability to communicate in all those channels, right? And within one platform. So now what a lot of people did probably 5 years ago is you did what I call the bolt-on. So you had an inbound, outbound dialer, and then you said, hey, I'm going to do some SMS. So you went out and found an SMS vendor. And then you said, you know what, I think we need to do social media. So you went out and got a Facebook or some social media vendor. And so now you're managing 3 vendors, 3 different experiences, and that's where customers get frustrated. Yes. So first off, you have to have a platform, and I'm biased for NobelBiz, but you have to have a platform that's going to allow those omni-channel experiences, those different channels flow in, and tag that to the customer and figure out what is the best way to communicate. And they call it preferred communication method. How do we profile each customer and we define the best experience? Only way you're going to do that is if you have that data and you have that information based on those channels.
Spot on. So how do we measure a seamless customer experience, and how do we know we're on the good path?
I mean, there's a number of different measurements. So after call surveys, you can even look at, stars, ratings, all those type of things. But really at the end of the day, it's all about the customer. And so the customer's experience, it tells the whole truth. So if you're doing the after call surveys and you're seeing your ratings, and as a company, people are feeling great about your experience, they're telling people, they're rating you very well, then I think you're on the right path. The other thing is just use common sense.
Nice.
Common sense goes a long ways. If you're having to transfer people to other departments, or you understand, let's say you call a company and you're like, you know what? They did a great job. They really did a good job from the time I called in till the time I left to the after call survey. They had all their ducks in a row. And so the idea would be to build that solution that would not only satisfy you, but also make you give a good rating, make you say, hey, I prefer this, and just build it. I would say 5 years ago, you'd be in trouble trying to find all these bolt-on solutions to be able to build that. But now with Omnichannel and other solutions out there that give you that seamless experience without having a whole lot of investment or a whole lot of technical lift, then I think it's really, why don't people offer that now versus can they?
Right. Well, this has been incredible, Mike. I want to thank you to all our viewers for listening today. And I want a big thanks to Michael McGuire of NobelBiz as our sponsor. I am Craig Sell with Pace, and listen in for our next big insight coming your way soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Craig.